So, Mark, did you see that video of that innocent lady walking through Wynn? She's just minding her own business when the flower beds attacked her. When are they going to put up guardrails for this?
I know they need to go like Fontainebleau and put up railings and glass and everything so people don't trip over the little bricks. I don't know. Do you think she like stumbled in there, or what was it last year? It was like drunk bombs and they were just falling all over themselves. This seemed a little bit more innocent. I love how they try to stop the filming of it at the end.
Yeah, they come up with the big hands, and it's embarrassing to fall into the flowers, and the poor lady.
You got to take it, just like a Christmas tree that's leaning to the left.
So it's been almost 3 weeks since the race, Mark, and this is what the Bellagio looks like today. So we still haven't completely returned to normal, just for people
Ridiculous.
who are looking. Yeah.
I don't get it. It's been what, like 2.5 weeks now? How do you not have this opened up and taken care of? And they should start fine. And this is on Las Vegas. This is on the council. If you say this needs to be done in a week or you're going to pay hefty fines, it would be done. And they don't care. They let them take as long as they want. This should not be affecting people coming for Christmas trips in the middle of December, and this will probably be there for like the rest of the week, maybe into next week. That's way too much. You could have somebody come and break this down within 4 or 5 days.
What's worse, the Bellagio sidewalk being blocked or the trash over at Hard Rock?
I mean, if you're going on a trip, you care more about the Bellagio sidewalk being blocked. The trash, I mean, you probably aren't walking by the Mirage anymore anyway. But yeah, I would get more upset if I want to go see the fountains or spend that time there. That's like a sacred place to a lot of people, and especially first-time visitors. You watched Ocean's 11 and all that stuff. Like, that's the one spot you want to go to from around the world, and you can't, and it's just ridiculous.
So speaking of the Mirage, we shared on the last show about how they're taking out the glass, and some people did have hope that maybe they'll replace the glass later or they'll keep it. And I've received confirmation that it is indeed going. The atrium is gone. That space will be repurposed into something else with a regular roof and no glass. So I wonder if it's too close to the guitar tower, the shadows, or, I mean, we still don't know at this point, but I can assure you that it is gone.
Yeah, they're not going to close. They close. They're not going to remove the atrium. They remove the atrium. I mean, like, can we trust anything that they say going forward? Like, it just feels that way. It's a kind of a big misstep if they would have just said, maybe they didn't know, to be fair. Maybe they weren't sure what it was, and this came after the planning and everything. But I feel like if you got things approved, it should be fine. It's sad to see it go. After you lose the volcano, you lose this. I think I said last time, once the tower's up and the guitar tower's up and going, I think that will take people away from it. It'll add a new landmark thing in Vegas to go check out each trip. And I'm sure many people will love it, maybe love it more than the volcano. So we'll just have to wait and see when it's all done, but sad to see the atrium go for sure.
And while this could still change, as far as I understand, that area will still have a raised roof over the rest of the area and it'll be enclosed in. So we don't know what they're going to do inside of there, but that's sort of the way it's been explained to me. So we will see. Just wanted to update you on that. Harmon Corner, that's that big mall right on the F1 corner. Speaking of that, they're going to expand. I don't know how they're going to expand, Mark, but they're going to squeeze in more shopping into this area, starting with kiosks on the sidewalk. Now, this area gets very busy. You're thinking about the area outside the Taco Bell Cantina, and there's just a lot of people around there. Well, they're going to throw in some kiosks anywhere from 100 to a few hundred square feet right along that area. Then they're going to build some new spaces overhanging that area. So a new 1,700 square foot area, another 1,900 square foot shop that they're going to open. So a huge expansion here, squeezing every last bit of space that they have.
I mean, it's sidewalk. I don't understand how you can take up sidewalk. It seems like it's going to be a public nuisance or even dangerous to a point of overcrowding, especially F1. We walked through there during F1. It was already crazy right there. I couldn't imagine with more crap in the way and all these things. Maybe they'll remove them for F1, but that's kind of annoying too. There's not enough space there to do anything with it. I understand you wanting to monetize every square foot, but what is public space? Like, what is considered public space in Las Vegas on the Strip that they can do this?
Yeah, it does seem like these are sidewalks. I don't know. Like, when you look at this rendering, Jaybird Vegas is where I originally saw the LoopNet listing. That one spot, though, the 1,700 square foot one that overhangs, that's going to be great views of the Strip.
Yeah, I just don't know how it's going to function down on the ground level.
Maximizing revenue. I guess that's how it goes. So I wanted to share this. Paul Steelman from Steelman Partners, he's one of the guys behind LVXP, a longtime developer here in Las Vegas. He wrote to me after our recent show talking about gaming numbers being down, and maybe the start of some softness here for Las Vegas. And he shared his perspective, and I thought it was worth sharing with all of you, maybe having a discussion. He points out two significant casinos closed, with the Trop and the Mirage, bringing 4,511 hotel rooms offline, 5% of the inventory. But then we also, have Durango and Fontainebleau that came online during that period of time. So we don't know, but he's saying that's what's causing a lot of the declines in revenue. And then he just goes on to say, we can never afford to rest on Las Vegas's past successes. Entertainment districts worldwide have tried to replicate it, but none have succeeded. Las Vegas remains the leader, or soon to be leader, in casino gambling, entertainment, conventions, dining, retail, sports, and soon Hollywood in the desert. And he has good points, top to bottom. It's just a different Las Vegas than I think a lot of people knew and loved.
Yeah, I think that plays a role for sure, at least on the Strip numbers, but we're seeing numbers down across the board. It wasn't like if the Strip was the outlier and that was down and everybody else was, kind of hanging on or positive. I would agree with it wholeheartedly. But the fact that we saw downtown, Laughlin, like everything in the area that has nothing to do with those two casinos being closed for the most part was also down. So I don't think it fully fleshes out in my mind, at least. And then, like you said, Fontainebleau and Durango, much smaller properties, but they probably at least take up the Tropicana because there wasn't a ton of people in there to begin with, and maybe bite into some of the Mirage numbers. But yeah, I just feel like we've seen this across the board. So, and it's been a couple months now. I don't know that fully explains everything, but I think it plays a role.
And everything he said can be true, and Las Vegas can still go into struggling times as the economy struggles. Every single economic cycle that's been bad, Las Vegas has been affected. So I don't know necessarily that that's a huge impact, but he is right. I've said this before. I travel all over the world. Las Vegas is a shining bright city in the desert. Everybody knows what it is. Everybody wants to come. And I do think a lot of these projects are setting it up for a successful future. The world has changed so much. We're talking about a Las Vegas of the past, but the world isn't the same either. And Las Vegas has kept up with that. So if you go anywhere, all these same corporate shenanigans that we talk about are in full effect too.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest reason why Vegas never needed F1, because a lot of cities want F1 to get on the map, the international map. Austin, yeah, people don't know, they know Texas, they don't know Austin, so it makes sense that they would want F1. It's a booming city, a growing city, a fun city, gets people internationally thinking about it, checking it out, things like that. Everybody knows Las Vegas. Anywhere you go and you say you're from America, they ask if you've been to Vegas, New York, and LA. Like, those are the three things, and those are the places they want to go. So I don't think they needed F1 at all, and it just added more chaos, for something that the payoff just isn't really there, besides for a couple of the casinos.
Huge thank you to Paul for sharing his thoughts, and chime in the comments on what you guys think about all of this. As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show. A lot of fun behind the channel, behind our Vegas escapades. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the info. And thanks to everybody who supports us over there. So 6 Las Vegas Chinese restaurants have made Yelp's top 100 list. And that's not a surprise. Las Vegas, a burgeoning food scene. And starting at number 8, or the highest on this list, is China Mama. We just talked on the last show how they opened up a location at Palace Station. According to this Review Journal article, they have 5 locations now around the valley. I didn't realize that they had expanded so much. And like I said, delicious food there.
Yeah, and the place looked great at Palace Station, and I'd heard the name before, never been. But I didn't realize there were so many of them. So that's kind of cool to see. And I'll say, like, for these lists, they're usually kind of BS, especially Yelp. Like, I don't trust Yelp for anything anymore. But it is always interesting to look at because it gives you new ideas or gives you new info that you didn't have before. Or, on this list, you might be like, oh, I've never heard of that place. Let me go check that out. So I always find value in it for that, even if you don't agree with the rankings or even the rankings within Las Vegas.
A few other ones: Shang Artisan Noodle on West Flamingo Road, number 15. Magic Noodle, number 19. Yun Noodle and Dumplings, number 25. Bing Dan Shengshi Taste on Spring Mountain Road is number 61. And then Noodle Head, number 67. So there you go. I mean, we know we have great Chinese food, great Asian food here of different types, and people should venture into, go to Chinatown. Just do it.
How many years would it take you to eat at every restaurant in Chinatown, you think?
Just in that one strip mall, that one Chinatown, it would be at least a few months.
Yeah, it's crazy how many restaurants they have. And if you haven't been in that area, definitely go check it out.
Another area we like to talk about is the Arts District, and they are getting a new eatery, and one that a lot of people are probably familiar with, Holstein's. That used to be a Cosmo forever. It just closed, I think, last year. Great burgers. They're known for their over-the-top milkshakes as well. I've only eaten there once, but I really loved the burger there. And they're moving next to the Velveteen Rabbit over there in the Arts District.
Another great reason to go down to that area and hang out, and so many good places to eat and drink, and just, such a different vibe than everywhere else.
And soon you might be able to catch a Zoox. That is the autonomous taxi company owned by Amazon, and they've been testing their cars. We talked about them on the show a while ago. I've seen them around the city, but they've been working with employees only up until this point. What's unique about Zoox is that they have these vehicles that don't have a steering wheel and don't have the traditional vehicle stuff that maybe Waymo and some of the other competitors have. But anyway, they are going to expand in 2025. They plan to open it up fully, but starting with the Strip, and that is happening very soon. They're opening up to public riders, the Strip. Look for these vehicles all over Las Vegas. I'm excited. I like the fact that this isn't a traditional car where people face each other. It feels more like the future of transport.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many people are willing to dive in and be the first ones to do it. It'll be cool to see them going up and down the Strip and everything, and hopefully this helps, especially if you're picking up multiple passengers and things like that. It should help a little bit with traffic, you would hope. And I just imagine wherever you get dropped off or whatever you talk about inside that car will end up showing up on your Amazon when you pull it up, and be proposition you to buy things.
Alexa is always listening. I guess the big question is it Zoox or Zoox? I've never heard it pronounced, and I just had that realization the other day that it could be Zoox. So I guess people can let me know in the comments. Nobody's corrected me so far when I said Zoox all these years.
We should all apologize for Sean saying the name that's not allowed to be said. And people all of a sudden in everybody's living room, they're saying, yeah, what did you need?
So let's move on to the Orleans. We talk ad nauseum on this show about thefts that happen in Las Vegas. And what happened at the Orleans, this lady shared on TikTok. And I guess she was here for the rodeo, but she left 2 Louis Vuitton bags in her room with credit cards and other stuff in them. And they were stolen, I think, by a maid, or at least that's the accusation they made. I wouldn't leave 2 Louis Vuitton bags full of cash and credit cards in my room.
Yeah, I mean, it's common sense. And I love it. She's like, well, put your stuff in your safe. Okay. I don't know. That's kind of harsh. But maybe you can't bring Louis Vuittons. You can't wear watches in Vegas. You can't bring Louis Vuittons. I don't know what the answer is. But I think you owe this young lady an apology myself.
Why?
Because I think, the bad guys are coming from Rio, and you made them switch out all the locks. They can't get in there anymore. So now they're over at the Orleans. It's all your fault, Sean.
I guess I will take responsibility. But, you got Louis Vuitton bags. Don't stay at the Orleans. Why aren't you at Wynn? They'll I don't know, protect it.
I don't know. I heard her say something about barrel racers. And all I know, if that's what's going on here from Yellowstone, is they're all kind of crazy. So
now you upset all the Cowboys.
No. The Cowboys are the ones that say it.
Oh, okay. So let's talk gambling for a bit. We have some interesting gambling stories to go over here. Starting at Red Rock, Station Casinos, I noticed this a few weeks ago, but I wanted to discuss it. They are posting recent jackpots in the casino. That's not new. They announce that stuff all the time over speakers and stuff, but it tells you the location in the casino where the jackpot hit, I guess, so gamblers can go seek out that location and try to figure out if it's lucky or not.
Yeah, do you think this drives people to those spots or keeps them away? Because I feel like if a big win just hit or a jackpot, I would not be wanting to sit at that machine, even though it probably doesn't matter, especially if it's in a bank of machines. I don't know. It just seems like this would be like, okay, I know not to go to that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think with all gambling, it doesn't matter. It's random. There's areas of the casino where you're sitting and everybody's hitting a bonus, or even on some banks of machines where it just seems like oftentimes it seems like everybody's hitting the bonus but you. But I mean, I don't know that there's a lucky area of the casino. To me, this wouldn't make any difference. I do wonder, people out there, do you gravitate to something that you feel is lucky when you get these announcements? I mean, why would it matter?
This is just to get the sour rooters to special areas. They're just trying to get them to go to the certain machines and watch people. I don't know.
Yeah, you get them all into one area, then you round them up, kick them out, take away their player's card, and throw them out on the street. Beautiful. So the next story is this crazy parlay shared by Caesars, and I don't know, what is it, like 20 something picks on there. Yeah, it's nuts. $5 bet won $80,777.02. An amazing score, but just a reminder, how many people lost their parlay bets in order for this one to be won?
Yeah, and the reason they show these is so that people do these crazy long parlay bets, which are a huge house advantage. I mean, I think all the online sports books, most of their profit is based in parlays. just because it's so much more house advantage compared to like a straight bet or just one team bet. They want to promote that, just like we saw in the last story, people showing where the slots won and stuff, trying to draw people into those areas. This is the same type of thing, but it's always fun to when somebody does do it. Could you imagine like getting to 23 or 24 and then have the last one just crap out on you?
That's why it almost seems like it should pay more than that. I know it's only a $5 bet and he's winning $80,000, so the odds there are astronomical, but still, it seems like it's such an out there sort of thing to hit that many. Yeah, I mean, it's like winning the lottery, but he didn't win millions of dollars.
Yeah, I don't even think like there's no way somebody has 25 lines on something like that they have knowledge of. At some point, he's just throwing darts, or she. They're just throwing darts back and forth, and like, that sounds good. That sounds good. It's kind of crazy.
So let's put our serious hats on for a second. There was an expose in the New York Times talking about sports betting apps specifically, but online apps and online gambling and its effect on the nation and certain people. It tells a story of a guy who did things that I think it's a story for somebody like me who's lived here forever, things I've seen over and over again, going into debt, trying to, get out of debt. And soon the gambling just becomes how you try to pay back the debt you have from the gambling instead of trying to win. It started out as he wanted vacations and all of that. Talks about having the apps on your phone and just being able to bet all of the time and some of the downsides of that. And because we talk about the gaming industry here all the time, we should at least acknowledge this side of it as well.
Yeah, I think it's important to realize. And I think once gambling doesn't become about entertainment or fun anymore, that's when it should change. Like when you think that you're going to use it to pay for things, that's the first sign that things are going wrong. And then, you end up chasing and everything. I know I've been there. I think you've been there too at some point where we've gone to the dark side of this and needed to say, you know what, this is it. And luckily we got out before it got so bad. People get to the dark points of their brain and they get so deep that they consider harming themselves and things like that. So you don't want to get to that point, and hopefully you have somebody you can lean on when that does happen. But like in this story, he had the support system. You thought it was like moving on, learned the lesson, got out before it got too deep, and then went even further in, a couple weeks later. So it's important to have that help system or have some type of system set up for you. Doesn't always work, but it was a really interesting read. And, kudos to the person for sharing their story. I know that's not easy, telling the whole world how you made bad decision after bad decision, but that's kind of what you have to do at this point and make amends and do the best you can. And you lose trust of your family and your kids and everything. It's a hard road to go down, and having it on your phone makes it so much easier. I know you and me have talked about this off the show, like how easy it is to just transfer money from your PayPal account or from your bank account, where there's natural barriers at the casino. Your ATM card only works up to so far. You have to go to the cage. You have to get physical cash. You have to lay that cash down. Like there's all these mental things you go through where just clicking a button doesn't feel as real.
And a lot of people don't recognize problem gambling as something like alcoholism or other issues that people have. And so they don't treat it as strongly. And it, like you say, it's completely devastating top to bottom. Living in the city, I've seen it time and time again. This is a great article. People should read it, kind of understand what this is. And, it talks about how the apps, when you don't go in there for a few days, they're going to hit you up with bonuses. And this industry has grown, I think, from 2022 to 2023, 44% in revenue. So it's like gangbusters since that decision in 2018 that's allowed it. And I don't know what the answer is other than to say people should be aware of this, be aware of the people in your life. And because we talk about the gaming industry, which we know brings joy and entertainment to us and many millions of other people, we definitely want to make sure that we cover this side of it as well and be honest in our coverage. So yeah, like you said, kudos to him for sharing this because it's an embarrassing, devastating story. He gambled 110,000 in a year and his salary is 120,000. So that just shows you the level of where he went.
Well, he lost 110 and it was like 850,000 like wagered in a year, which is, was taking personal loans and all those types of things to cover it and get more money and stuff. And it's tough. It's tough. It's just like, even if you have like a little bit of a gambling problem and you go to Vegas a couple times a year and you overindulge while you're there, at least there's that barrier that used to be where you go home, you take a break or whatever. This doesn't afford you that break when that phone's right there. And there's apps you can download that won't let you download these type of sports betting apps and stuff like that if you need to do that. that's definitely something helpful that I found in the article that I didn't know about. So there are opportunities out there. I wish they were easier to get to. You can also self-exclude yourself from any of the apps for like 5 years or lifetime, stuff like that. Or if you just feel it like you're chasing too much, you can put yourself on a break for days, weeks, months, whatever it be. So there, take advantage of those if you need to. But yeah, I think it's important for us to share.
And I'll put the hotline number on the screen. All you have to do is make a call to this hotline. They'll help you through the rest of the steps if you do need help right now. But in the meantime, let us know about anything that we discussed today, everything with the problem gambling and the app explosion in the gaming industry. Leave a comment on that. Harmon Corner, squeezing every last bit of real estate in there. Falling in the
Terrible.
flowers at Wynn. Have you ever done that?
Amazing.
Mark's done it at Epcot, so he feels the pain there. I love bringing that up.
Yeah.
But leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. We'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good weekend, everybody.